All right, good morning, everybody. We are back with part two of the white starter deck comparison and review of Aegis of the Machine. We are going to cover one correction. Thankfully, the guys and the community have been very helpful and pointing me in the right direction of Mechawing Duck's Japanese cards, so we're going to cover that too. Also want to thank Matt Cosmer. He put together a wonderful collage of what all the cards look like. So we got a nice view from that. So thank you for that, Matt. So let's jump right into everything. First off, the correction. Mechawing Duck. MVP of this starter deck, in my personal opinion, because of his insane mana ramp ability. But let's look at the Japanese part. So we have Karuga Mode, one difficulty, no reduction. 1K at level 1, 2K at level 2. With two abilities of at level 1 and level 2, when the spirit blocks, he gets plus 3K. And at level 2, when he blocks, exhaust an opposing spirit. Vastly different cards. American Mechawing Duck becomes a 0 cost. Japanese Mechawing Duck stays at a level 1. Mechawing Duck in Japan likes to focus on blocking and screwing up opponents' attack sequences. Meanwhile, Mechawing Duck in English gets to be a mana ramp or a resource ramp tool because of his ability of during the course step if one of your opponent's spirits is returned to their hand or deck, place a card from the void onto the spirit. So again, we just keep bouncing and doing all of our things to spin stuff back to the hand or deck, pile cores onto the Mechawing Duck, and then swing or do something against Mechawing Duck kill. We can combine this with some purple spells, possibly, to sacrifice a spirit, or we just swing and force the death, and then all those cores we stacked on him will go to the trash, which will eventually go to the reserve, meaning he's just free money. He's free resources. He's so good. Moving on to the next one, we have Seabeast Dugong, who is a giant beast. Three casting costs with 2 reduction costs. He is a vanilla character. At level 1, he hits at 3K. At level 2, he hits 6K. Only hits for 1 because he's only one white symbol. In Japan, he is a 4 difficulty with 1 reduction. He is also a blank creature in Japan, which is, I think, the first time we've hit upon that. However, he hits for 3K at level 1, 6K at level 2, but he has a level 3 that lets him reach 8K. So he is a decent blocker. 4 cores is not hard to get onto a character. I think the thing that offsets each other is Dugong in Japan gets a double attack power, but American Dugong can come in at a 1, meaning he is able to see play faster. So they are kind of tied. It's just one's bulky, one's fast. And that's going to be really up to you. You as the player, I mean, obviously we're only going to be getting the English card, but what I mean is, do you want a speedy attacker in your deck? Right now, probably the answer is yes, until we see what kind of wonderful treasures set 1's going to give us. But being able to drop something out at 1, maybe on turn 2 or 3, very early game, and just being able to drop it, block, and then maybe smash, seems good. Next up, we have, I forgot that the Japanese card did not come with the name on this. I believe it was Iceblader Swordsman Brigid in Japan, and we have Iceblader Brigid in English. 5 difficulty with 2 reduction cost. Hits for 3K at level 1, hits for 5K at level 2. With the first ability of level 1 and level 2, when destroyed, if the spirit has a soul core, select one of the opposing spirits and spin it back to the hand. and this is when it's destroyed. And then at level 2, when it blocks, select one of your opponent's spirit. That spirit will not be able to refresh this turn during their next fresh step. Only hits for 1 damage because it only has 1 white symbol. Move over to Japanese. Japanese shares same cost and reduction at 5 and 2. Hits for 4k at level 1, 5k at level 2, 7k at level 3, with the abilities of at level 1, 2, and 3 for each of your spirits, the spirit gains an additional 1k. So Brigid can get real big, real quick. And when braved, at level 2 and level 3, when it blocks, put a core from the void onto any of your spirits. So, compare. Japanese loses, or our American counterpart does not gain the level 3 skill, or the level 3 power bonus, so we are stuck at a 5k at our max without any enhancements. We get to spin back a unit so long as Brigid has the soul core on it when it's destroyed. That'll be tricky because you only get 1 soul core, and you have to be very strategic on where you put this soul core. So it won't always be on Brigid to take advantage of this ability. Japanese, however, has a far superior ability of every spirit on the field contributes to Brigid's power and gives it 1k, meaning you get astronomical numbers very quickly if you're able to spam out a lot of little stuff. Its second ability is very uncomparable because we don't deal with Braves. This comes from set 20. This is a set 1 card and a starter card on top of it. So it's very hard to compare. Like, when braved and it blocks, so it's got to have a braved unit attached to it, we can get a free core. But when this happens, when we block with this card, select one of the opponent's spirits and we get to keep it tapped, so it gets sickness. I don't know what the magic equivalent of that is, but we get to keep something trapped for a turn. So Japanese and English are okay from each other. I don't really see how one side has the better edge over each other. I mean, the top skill is probably in Japan is probably better than our top skill in English. The bottom 2 skills, again, are not comparable because we don't deal with Braves yet. But I do like the ability to keep a problematic card tapped down for an additional turn and controlling their board just a little bit. So, both good cards, but 2 very different cards. Next up, we are going to be looking at Frosttree Goddess Eir. 3 difficulty, 1 reduction. Hits for 1k at level 1, hits for 3k at level 2. Hits for 1 damage, only has 1 white symbol. At level 1 and level 2, when summoned, select one of your spirits with when the spirit blocks effects and place a core from the void on it. So when she comes into play, she is free core acceleration for another unit. Let's flip on over to Japanese. Japanese is a 4 difficulty with 3 reduction costs, meaning it can drop down to 1. Its name in Japan is Dr. Goddess Eir. At level 1 and level 2, when summoned, return 1 opposing spirit to the opponent's hand. And at level 2, when your spirits in the Astral Soul family of Astral Soul are destroyed, add a core from the void to your life. So I think the Japanese has the better card this time around. We just get to have a simple core acceleration, only 1 summoned. We only get to come and play it at 2. Battle power is the same at the moment. Japan gets to let this come in at a 1. When it's dropped, we don't get core acceleration, we get unit spin. So we get to pop a card back to their hand. And then the second one really doesn't come into play for our thing because we're not playing Astral Soul. But, they get to return a life from the void whenever an Astral Soul is destroyed. So we get life recovery off the Japanese one. I want to say the Japanese card's a little bit better than the English because This can come in at a 1. That can come in only at a 2. We do get core acceleration off this unit, so that's good, but Dr. Eir gets to spin something back, which may be better, and force them to waste more resources on recalling a card that they may have dumped a lot of resources into. Kind of hard to say. I want to lean towards the Japanese a little more than the English, just because, if anything, their call and reduction, their being able to get this at a 1 as opposed to a 2 leads to a lot better circumstances. Moving on, we have Hollowbeast Glassbear. 3 difficulty, 1 reduction. Hits for 3k at level 1, hits for 4k at level 2. At level 1 and level 2, its ability is 1 this blocks. Place a core from the void onto the spirit if there's a soul core on it. Only hits for 1 damage, only 1 white symbol. In Japan, 3 difficulty, 2 reduction cost. Hits for 3k at level 1, 5k at level 2, and 6k at level 3. With the ability in Japanese of at level 1, 2, and 3, if you have a burst set, each spirit can only reduce either player's life by 1. And then it has heavy armor at red-yellow, meaning the spirit cannot be affected by red, yellow, spirit, brave, nexus, or magic effects. So, clear-cut winner here is definitely the Japanese. We get 1 more reduction. We get an additional level of power. We do deal with bursts in our game, so in English, we only get the ability of when it blocks. If there's a soul core on it, we get core acceleration only, but onto this unit exclusively. We can't pass it around. We can pass it around, but we have to wait till our next step to pass it around. Meanwhile, in Japan, this gets heavy armor. And this negates big, high damage swings, meaning even if they're braved or if they are a 2 jeweled unit, meaning 2 symbols here, meaning it would deal 2 damage. If they had a brave on it, they could have a 3rd damage. They can only hit for 1. Now, likewise, we can only hit for 1, but the focus is making sure they can only take 1 life at a time. Hollowbear in Japanese is just so much better, like leaps and bounds. The additional power, the additional core cost, the protection. This one, again, it only triggers if it has the soul core on it. So, score on... Yeah, I mean, you got, again, the soul core is going to be moving around the board all the time. And for core acceleration just on itself, when it's only sitting at a 4k, possibly a 5k, depending on what Nexus is, or other abilities we have out, I don't see this being a very good card, in my opinion. Moving on over, speaking of Nexuses, we have the Spring of Norn. 3 difficulty, 2 reduction cost. Lets us reduce by 1 because it has 1 white symbol. It has the first ability at level 1 during your opponent's attack step. At the start of the attack step, select 1 of your spirits with no listed effects and refresh it. We've seen a fair amount of vanilla in this deck thus far, so we get to take use of its skill. And at level 2, during your opponent's attack step, at the start of the attack step, refresh all your spirits with no listed effects. So, all of our vanilla cards, just for 2 cores, get to refresh during the opponent's attack step, meaning we get blockers back, meaning we can swing and then block. Meanwhile, over in Japanese, same casting cost, same reduction cost, same symbol. Level 1 and level 2, on the opposing turn, you can exhaust a Nexus you control instead for Ice Wall of your for the Ice Wall of your spirits. That one doesn't really make a lot of sense. You can exhaust a Nexus you control instead for the Ice Wall of your spirits. So I guess in conjunction, if you're playing Ice Wall, you can Use this to pay its cost instead of Icewall's actual casting cost, I guess is what this means. Second ability, your white or yellow nexuses cannot be destroyed by opposing nexus effects. So, kind of difficult. They do two very different things, so it's hard to compare them. Maybe the English may be a little bit better. I don't know if we're getting Ice Wall, so kind of hard to say on that front. The ability to guard against yellow and white is very good in Japanese, but in this one, just for the starter deck, we can refresh all of our board just for having blank spirits. Seems pretty good, so I dig it. They're both equally good. Holy Elixir. In English, it's a 4 casting cost magic card with 1 reduction. It is a burst with the ability that says burst when it burst activates when the opponent resolves a spirit when summoned effect. And then we can place 2 cores from the void to our trash, and then we can pay the cost to activate its flash effect. Flash effect is select 2 spirits and refresh them. Spirits refreshed by this effect cannot attack during this turn. Which is fine, because if we do this on their turn, we can still block with them. Meanwhile, in Japanese, 4 difficulty, 3 reduction cost, and its flash effect is per core from the reserve to your life. So we can play that at 1 difficulty, and it's just flat out flash timing, gain a life, if we have anything in the reserve. Bit difficult. I think the English one is just as good because we circumvent that casting cost by it being a burst. We can pay its cost to be able to refresh 2 spirits just for them to block. So if we run out of blockers, we can, if we have to, we can just pay the flash timing cost, meaning we're going to be paying 3 cores to refresh 2 spirits that have already blocked to block again. Seems okay. I dig both. The Japanese one is just very straightforward, very simple, and very cheaply costed. English one is okay. Again, we don't have to worry about the cost too much because we have burst, and it gives us core acceleration for when we hit our next refresh step. Because it doesn't go on anything, it just moves 2. We get 2 free cores from the void to the trash, meaning we gotta wait to the refresh step. If we have leftovers, we can reduce it and pay 3 to refresh 2 spirits to block. So it's okay. That last part's a little high cost in my opinion, but the burst lets us get free cores to accelerate next turn. So pretty good. And this is the overview of the starter deck. Again, thank you to Matt Cosmer for putting together such a nice look at what our starter deck will be like. Again, Mechawing Duck MVP. So let's look at this. We have 1, 2, 3 units that we can use the abilities of don't have, that we can reset via Norn Spring. Everything else has an effect. I'm digging it. I really like this. It's got some mechs, which I love. I do love me some giant robots. I do like that we have Buffalo Bill on here twice. Maybe they forgot to add a card or something. I think, nope, Dream Bomb's in here, and so is Heaven Piercing Castle. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4 magics. Or no, excuse me. 3 magic, 2 nexuses, and the rest are spirits. Oh, I know what he's missing in this. Matt is missing the 2 elephants, the 2 Norman guards. I think they are in the starter deck too. So yeah, this is what the starter deck is going to be looking like. I dig it. We get a nice mix. We get mostly Mecha which is fine. We get some giant creatures, also good. We get a very slight taste at Ice Princesses, which they're nasty as anything. The further they go, I really look forward to this. I will have a full in-hand deck profile, deck review once the cards come out. Let you guys know what I think once more stuff comes out. And then once the set comes out, we're going to be trying to get videos coming out once white cards are previewed, because I really want to focus on white because they are my favorite color of this game. So guys, thank you for watching. I will see you guys soon, hopefully, once previews start rolling out. Again, like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I will catch you guys later.